Hello, family. Listen, I'm going to, since this is I hope you can see me well, but since this is the coronavirus period and, I can't always get to the stores, I've decided to make and record myself making yeast bread, sandwich bread, just a plain old-fashioned, loaf of bread. What I'm going to do is, well, first I'm going to explain, as I said, this is the regular bread you buy in the store is not made with baking soda. Like, you make biscuits with baking soda, but bread that you can buy in the store that, cut up for sandwiches and what have you, that's made with, of course, it's made with yeast. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to make yeast bread. I'm going to try. If it turns out right, I will show you this video. If it doesn't, then you'll never know this video took place. But, okay, first I'm going to explain the type of yeast I'm going to use, because there's three main types, but one main type. One of them I don't use. This is, anyway, I'm going to deal with the two main types of yeast that I use. Let me put this a little better, which is, a lot of stores sell yeast, so they have various companies making it. And the most popular yeast is it's two really popular yeast, which is Red Star, that's the name of it, and Fleischmann's. I think that's how you pronounce it. Fleischmann. I use Fleischmann. I've never used Red Star, but Red Star is real popular. And now here's one called Baker's Corner. This is what I got from Aldi. This is their brand. A lot of stores make their own brands, but most people use the popular brands, Red Star or Fleischmann. And I'm going to use Red Star. A lot of people say good things about Red Star, but today I'm going to make it the easiest way possible. The easiest way possible is for me to stick with the one I've used before, which is Fleischmann. Now, with the yeast, all different brands of yeast. There's two different types of regular yeast, which is, it's called active dry. Now with this one, it's dry because, it's no water mixed in, but it's a dry yeast. And these are 1, 2, 3 packages. You usually use, for one loaf, you usually a package of loaf. Okay, with this one, with this active dry, what you do is you mix it with water first, because you want to know if the yeast is working. And to know if the yeast is working, you have to mix it with warm water. It has to be like tap water. It can't be too hot, can't be too cold. So I'm not going to use this one. I mean, it's not that hard. But you do have to mix it with water. Well, you should before you start using it. But now what people use a lot of time is instant yeast. It could be all brands. Red Star got instant yeast. I think all this brand got instant yeast. Anyway, instant yeast means you don't have to mix it with water. You just put it like this. Okay, I'm going to read from the back up. But they said this is, known as instant yeast. It says it saves time. It only requires one rise. Well, we deal with rise later. But anyway, they said with this instant yeast, simply add to dry ingredients, meaning the flour, and then follow your recipe. You don't have to put the water in advance. So that's what we're going to do. I've cleared. Okay, so I'm ready to start it. I got the bowl I'm going to use. I got the yeast. In fact, I got all the ingredients over here beside me. And I got a recipe. Now, I wanted to get a recipe for instant yeast from the computer, but I think because of the time we're in, coronavirus time, the internet it's not working right today. I couldn't pull up the Fleischmann instant yeast recipe. So I'm going to have to use this recipe, which is really meant for the active yeast. But I'm going to try and do it because I could not pull up the instant yeast recipe because the internet is just not working today. It's not written correctly. Okay, this is the recipe. Now what I did is I wrote the recipe. It might be backwards to you or something. Anyway, I wrote the recipe. This is a plastic tablecloth. So and the recipe calls for 2.5 to 3 cups of flour. If it's real, I mean, you start with 2.5, and if it seems like it's too wet, then you add more. So you can go from 2.5 to 3. 1 package of yeast. It calls for sugar, 3 tablespoons of sugar. It calls for dry milk. I got this dry milk. It calls for 3 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of water. As I said, I got all of this mixed over here. Okay, I'm gonna put all of this in this pink bowl, and I've cleared this counter, wiped it off. And so once I finish mixing everything together, then I'm going to knead it. Keep moving it around to make it smooth on this countertop. And then I'm going to let it rest. And while it's resting, just leave it alone. And while resting, it should rise. It should get bigger. In fact, it should double inside. Once it does that, then you're ready to go ahead and put it in the oven. So, let's see. I'm going to follow the recipe because I don't remember what's what. I haven't made bread in so long. Okay, now the first thing said 2.5 to 3 cups of flour. So, in this, I'm going to start with first just 2.5. You know what? With flour, well, when you measure out flour, I hate to leave the camera. But when you measure out flour, they want you, anyway, it's best to, I'll show you. Okay, where's my measuring cup? Here is, this is 1 cup. And my flour is over here. 1 cup of flour. This is my flour. So I get it. You're never supposed to pack flour. So you can push it down in a cup. You can pack brown sugar. But when it comes to flour, you're never supposed to pack it. When you get ready to make sure it's right, you get a knife and you go across it. You don't pack it. Now you can sift it if you like, but the flour, and I haven't sifted, but most flour today is kind of like pre-sifted. You can still sift it if you want to make sure it's real fluffy or what have you, real fine. Okay, that's 1 cup. Gonna do 2 cups. I said 2.5. I don't think I got 1/2 cup over here, so I'm gonna have to go get 1/2 cup. 2. Or I might just put it in the 3 cups and use half of it. Yeah, I may do that. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, this is 2 cups. 2 cups of flour. I'm gonna go get 1/2 cup. A 1/2 cup. Oh, this is all-purpose flour. They have self-rising flour in the stores, but self-rising flour contains baking powder and salt. The difference between self-rising flour and all-purpose flour is self-rising flour has the baking powder. I don't use baking powder because baking powder will make it rise, but yeast will make it rise. So you don't need both. So I use all-purpose flour. And then they also have bread flour. I got bread flour, but it's kind of old, so I didn't trust it. But anyway, I've never used it. I've purchased it, but I never used bread flour. But that's specifically for bread. But I'm just using all-purpose. And now they say, remember I have 2.5 in here, cups of flour. You can go up to 3 cups. So I'm getting this other ready in case I need it. This other 1/2 cup would make 3 cups. I don't want to go higher than that. Because if I go higher, it would be too high for the other, wouldn't fit in with the other ingredients, the measurement of the other ingredients. Okay, so I'm looking at the pack recipe. I got the 2.5 to 3, I got the 2.5 cups of flour. Now I'm going to use the yeast. Remember, with this yeast, you don't have to mix it in advance in the water. You just simply, okay, here's one thing. Now I'm going to add salt in it and sugar. Oh, what did they say about that? They said yeast doesn't really like salt, so you try and keep it away, but it likes sugar. It's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, I'm going to put salt in it, but I do it. Anyway, you still have to put the salt, but you try and keep it away from the yeast if you can until it's time to mix it all together. Okay, now I got the 2.5 cups of flour and 1 thing of yeast. This is the instant yeast. You don't have to mix it with water in advance, which is what I like. Okay, I'm going to use the whole package. I think the package is about 2.5, 2.25 tablespoons. I mean teaspoon. But anyway, the bottom line is you usually just use 1 package of yeast. And then 3 tablespoons of sugar, which I already have. I've measured this already, the sugar. So I'm going to mix that together. And let me get this kind of mixed. Well, you know what? I'm going to wait to mix it all together. Then they say 3 tablespoons of dry milk. Now you can make it with instant milk, but a lot of recipes call for dry milk. And it's easier to have dry milk on hand, so I've always just used the dry milk. Got to open it up, need a knife. So they said 3 tablespoons of dry milk. I don't want to cut myself. Whoa. Let me get the scissors. I'm trying to get the scissors to open up the milk. Okay. So, what did I say? How many? 3 tablespoons. I like having dry milk on hand. You can mix this in a pitcher and just drink the milk. Or you can use it for, whenever you're cooking something and it calls for dry milk. You don't have to refrigerate it or whatever. Anyway, this is a tablespoon, and they want 3 tablespoons. And they have various brands of dry milk. I usually use Carnation, but I see this is Walmart brand. Walmart brand of dry milk. And it comes in, you get 3 in a package. 3 packages like this in a box. Okay, 1. 2. You don't have to put this dry milk in here. As long as you got water, oil, and flour, you can make bread. Or you can use an egg. Most people use an egg if they make like a sweet one, But anyway, okay, so far I have, right now I got the flour, 2.5 cups of flour, yeast, 1 package of yeast. I put in 3 tablespoons of sugar. Now the 3 tablespoons of dry milk I just did. 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. 1 kind of risky doing it like this. If you make a mistake, you end up putting a lot of salt. That would be awful. But I go slowly. 1. Yeah. Okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. Close the salt up. And that's all. This is all the dry ingredients I need. So, I see. I was wondering what this was. This is the extra flour. Anyway, so I got I'm mixing all the dry ingredients together. Now, what people mostly do when they're baking is they have one bowl, they have 2 bowls. They would mix all of the dry ingredients in one bowl, and then they would mix all of the wet ingredients in another bowl, and then combine the bowl of wet ingredients with the dry. I'm not going to do that. But I did put all the dry ingredients together. Now I'm going to add the wet ingredients, which is 1 cup of water, just plain old water. Now, if you were going to use the active dry yeast, your water would need to be hot. But with this instant yeast, the water doesn't have to be hot, and you don't have to put it in advance. So, which I like. I'm putting in the water a little at a time. It'd be easier to mix it. Put in the water. I could have, I probably should have put all the water in it. The other wet ingredients is going to be the oil. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. This is 1 cup of water, and I already measured it. And then 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I just happen to have canola as my vegetable oil. And 3, what did I say? Tablespoons? I don't want to mix up teaspoon, something should be a teaspoon, I ain't know what the tablespoon. Anyway, 3 tablespoons of oil. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 3 tablespoons of oil. Now, I think this is all I need. Yeah, according to the recipe, flour, 2.5 to 3. Got 2.5 in here. The other half that will make a 3 is here. I put in a package of yeast. I added the sugar, dry milk, salt, water, vegetable oil. Now to combine all of this together. See? Combining all of it together. And then I'm going to move this out of the way and start to knead in the bread, which means you kind of move it around and what have you to make it. Because when I finish, well, this is not a good spoon. Let me try with this. It's too soft. Easier with this kind of spoon. This is my favorite spoon, but it's not that good for soft iron because it's soft itself. Okay. Mixing it all together. It's going to be rough. Now, we're going to knead it to make it smooth after we get it all together. That's it. Now, as I said, I prepared this countertop. I can move it so you can see it a little better. So you can see how I'm going to. I got a lot of things I can knead. I usually use a little mat, but most people just use a countertop. And because I want you to be able to see it clearly, I'm going to use a countertop. Now, this is the thing that you use your hands with. Can't do it any other way. Now, you sprinkle a small amount of flour on the countertop. You don't want it to stick. And most people get the put a little on her hand. And then you're going to knead it, which is a hard thing. And I'm not going to have you wash all of it. But because I'm going to knead it for 8 to 10 minutes. She's not wet or anything in here. And I hope you can see it. This is the flour. It is sticky. I could have added a little more flour. Let's see. I sprinkle a little on top. And then I'm going to start kneading it. And then I'll cut this off and we'll continue later because I know you'll get bored. See how I knead it? Okay. When you knead it, you basically pull it, push it, and then pull it back. So wet. Do this. I forgot to time it. Hey Google. Hey Google. I want to ask Google to set timer to 3 to I'm gonna do it for 10 minutes. I'm just gonna look at the clock. It's 5:10. So I'm gonna do it to 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna cut it off because as I said, it's just a matter of pushing it, turn it. You do this for 10 minutes, at least 8 minutes. Now, if you got a mixer, which I have, you can do the mixer. I got one of those KitchenAid mixer. You can have the mixer to do it. But I've decided to do it so you can see it in case you don't have a mixer. That it's fine to not do it. Why? Okay. It's a long time, 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop the video, and then I'll start it back in 10 minutes. Okay.